Hello everyone, it's Richard and Sam here. Time for another video, and fuck, dude. Like the one thing I was advised, like, just stay away from it, mate. Just fuck, put your head under the covers and don't talk about it. Was the election? Just don't talk about the election. Just don't do it, right? Because I think we can all agree, this election cycle has been a fucking farce. It's been an absolute fucking farce. New lows stooped to on all fucking sides. Ridiculous media coverage, which makes no sense, has no bearing on fucking reality. And just, you know, when we get to a stage where one candidate is so universally loathed, you actually have journalists coming out and actively saying, well, we've got to get rid of impartiality. We must stop him at all costs. You know, journalists are going to sell their the standard, the very rules, the very thing, the ethics that are at the core of journalism. We're going to sell those out because we feel it's too important not to. That's always very upsetting. And of course, you know, we've had to deal with just lots of nonsense. Honestly, some of the headlines from this election cycle, you would think it was a fucking parody, but I think we just reached peak absurdity. I was going to not say anything. I was literally just going to let it happen, get to November, see how it goes, and deal with the fallout. Because let's be clear, this has been such a divisive and bitter election cycle, where instead of just doing what you should do in an election cycle and be like, okay, well, one candidate doesn't really stand for what I believe in. The other one does, or does to a greater degree. So I'm going to vote for that person. What instead you've got is people just actively all in, life or death. Yeah, it's completely, you know, to the point of just being melodramatic a lot of the time. And whichever side loses come the election, they're going to be so embittered. I don't trust them to behave themselves. Shit, we saw what happened in Britain with fucking Brexit, right? Such a contentious issue, really close vote, almost 50-50. What happened? Of course, everyone the next day, we need another vote. It's like, democracy doesn't work like that, dude. Like, you got to fucking suck it up. This is what happens. It's how democracy goes. But obviously, people aren't going to do that. It's going to be a very hostile environment for a while. So that was why I was going to stay out of it. And it's just common sense. Because if you express a political opinion, what with the divide being so fucking close, you literally are angering 50% of the people that watch this video right now, even with my audience. And I think we're all, you know, are all smart enough to respect each other's opinions, to understand that the difference of opinion, difference of philosophy, difference in thought is no reason to hostilely attack somebody else, you know, almost across the board, that good ideas and bad ideas can be, you know, you can figure out which ones are which just by reasoned discussion. Obviously, right, I know there'll be some people right now who are like, you know, don't like the fact that I did used to write for Breitbart, you know, in the interest of full disclosure. But before that, I did write for the Daily Dot. You know, I don't like to just go all in on one side, right? Like, I like to debate the fucking issues. But there's no debating this. There's no debating what I've seen these last couple of days. It is the biggest load of nonsense I've ever seen, and I am compelled to say something about it because it's absolute bullshit. It's bullshit, Sam.
They can't take our memes.
No. So let's get to what I'm talking about. Hillary Clinton, obviously a candidate for president of the United States, has decided to label a meme as on her official website, has decided to label the Pepe the Frog meme as being tied to white supremacy. I say that again. This cartoon frog, which we have all seen, as ties to white supremacy all of a sudden.
I like the thing. He says, "Why is there a frog standing behind Trump?" And it's because that's Pepe. He's a symbol associated with white supremacy. He's a frog.
Right. So let's just get to what happened. So this is obviously on Hillary Clinton's website. And again, I don't understand who's signed off on this. But Donald Trump's son, had tweeted out something in response to Hillary Clinton's comment that she considers 50% of Donald Trump supporters to be a basket of deplorables, basically saying they're racists, they're homophobes, they're misogynists, everything that's kind of wrong with modern America and people who are bigoted, right? She says 50% of Trump supporters are like that. Now, first of all, I don't know where she's pulling that number from. I don't know if they've done any polls in the Democratic Party to arrive at that conclusion. I also would say, in an election that is going to be close, I don't know if I'd want to start attacking what is ultimately approximately 25% of the voters. Seems a very strange policy right there. You have to be absolutely confident of victory if you're going to do something like that. And all the polls indicate that this is a very, very close election, that this could turn on a dime either way before November. So Donald Trump Jr. sent this out. And it's obviously a picture of, some notable people in the campaign. My old friend Milo Yiannopoulos is in there. Alex Jones is in there, looking as ridiculous as he often does. And, of course, a Donald Trump iteration of Pepe, the suicidal frog, is there. Now, this got tweeted, and people have somehow got upset with Pepe. I don't understand. I mean, Hillary Clinton did a speech about the alt-right, which, just to give you my view on that, I think anybody who embraces the term alt-right, and some of my friends have done this, and indeed Milo, who I have a lot of respect for, former co-worker of mine, a man I really care about. He's a good friend and a good man, despite what people try and label him as. He has embraced the alt-right term, and it's just so, if you've learned anything from the past, if you've learned anything from Gamergate, never embrace a hashtag that is being peddled as being some sort of like hate-fueled organization, because once you start embracing that, the mainstream media will beat you over the head with it for the rest of your lives. It's like being a gamer, then Gamergate, and now we're all misogynists and everything else. And now, of course, Pepe is a white supremacist frog. And anyone who identifies as alt-right, which is the alternative to the traditional conservative right, they're obviously white supremacists, neo-Nazis, scumbags. Which obviously isn't true. It's just a label. It's just people trying to describe the cultural shift in the conservative movement, but that label is already tainted. And if you embrace that label, you're fucking yourself. You're fucking your own ideals. Just ignore it. Do not engage with that whole alt-right bullshit. But of course, people are embracing it, beating their chest and saying, I'm proud to be the alt-right. Well, that's a losing battle. You should, I don't know. You're a neoconservative or something. Just don't play their game by embracing that label. That's my view on it. But anyway, Pepe was mentioned in this fucking speech. He's come up loads, right? Now, Pepe the Frog has been around for ages, like 2009, 2010 or something.
Probably.
Like, literally, I remember going on 4chan way back in the day. Pepe. There he is. It's a Pepe. And very often as well, let's think about what Pepe was used. It was always like obviously there was a few others, and we'll get into that in a second. But Pepe was a fucking depressed frog. He was, it started out with feels good, man, right? Like the big frog grin, right? Feels good. If something good happened, you posted a Pepe. Feels good, man. Right? And then obviously the depressed version of Pepe was feels bad, man. And that was the funny part, he used to feel good, now he feels bad. No mention of white supremacy, right? But the Hillary Clinton website put out this, and it just reads like, I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Who has signed off on this? Surely Hillary didn't see this. Surely she didn't. Someone must have just put this out. She must be raging about this. It makes her look so ridiculous. Why is there a frog standing directly behind Trump?
That's Pepe.
That's Pepe. He's a symbol associated with white supremacy. Wait, really? White supremacy? That's right. Please explain. So, the explanation here quotes a Daily Beast article. And what you've got to remember is there is this fucking maelstrom of media furor to stop Trump winning this election. And I think, I think we can all recognize that, really, okay? Like, I think we all know it. I think people have drawn a line in the sand in the media, and they've said, look, collectively, I think we have to use our platform to try and deviate the way this election's going. I think nobody expected him to get the Republican nomination, and he did. And then certainly nobody expected it to be this close in the polls, and now it is. And the media are basically doubling down and saying, we've got to use our platform because we believe this is a bad man, and we believe this will be a terrible move for America. So we've got to stop him winning at all costs. Now, unfortunately, what that leads to is fucking nonsense like this, which is just lies. It's just lies being peddled as facts. And the Daily Beast, they put this article out, which is being quoted here, and it is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
Just look at the drawing.
Right? So this Daily Beast article, right, it's very important that we point something out before we even start reading the absurdity. And obviously I do a lot of stuff in esports where I talk about conflict of interest, because it does amaze me that conflict of interest occurs, because obviously when you take a job or you do something, you can look at it and just say, well, that's a conflict of interest. That shouldn't be happening. That's a conflict of interest, right? But obviously sometimes conflict of interests are leveraged for personal gain, and we want them to happen, and we actually don't want people to see them. It's not just like a mistake; it's not just an ill thought out occurrence. So there's a board that there's a company that owns the Daily Beast, and it's called IAC. Now, if you go to the IAC website, you can see the board directors: Chelsea Clinton, that's the daughter of Hillary and Bill. And she's been there a long, long time. She is the vice chair of the and directors of the IAC situation. There's a long a bio there. And if you go over here to the top of the website and see our brands, you can see confirmation of the Daily Beast being part of IAC. So it does make you wonder, doesn't it? That, oh, right, Chelsea Clinton sits on a board of something that presides over the website. It's being directly quoted as fact with no other evidence presented on Hillary Clinton's official website. And if you click on the Daily Beast, you can see it's founded in 2008, blah, blah, blah. It won some Webby Awards for the best news site. And Daily Beast has done some vital reporting, by the way. But again, they've just jumped the fucking shark. They've done some great articles over there, but they've just reached peak absurdity. And no more than this. What I'm about to read you is fucking real. This will blow your fucking mind. I'm not kidding. You need to strap yourselves the fuck in for this. Right? And again, just keep in mind that relationship that we've just talked about as we read through this article. So, how Pepe the Frog became a Nazi Trump supporter, an alt-right symbol. This is a fictional frog. This is a fictional frog. And you can see they've used what happened was when 4chan and a lot of internet people started embracing Trump, because what you've got to understand is there is a cultural war going on right now. There are people that are very overtly liberal, and they want to censor people. And of course, the internet culture, there's a large number of people that do not embrace those values, believe in free internet, free speech at all costs, and they see Trump as basically an antidote for that rising sentiment that gets filed under the social justice warrior umbrella. So naturally, websites like 4chan did embrace Trump. And that's how you ended up with this Pepe meme. There he is, as Trump, Pepe, Trepe, Trumpe. I don't know. So, Olivia Nutzi, right? It talks about, the green frog was behind the United States side of the metal fence at the country's southernmost border, smirking and holding a Donald Trump campaign button up to his chin. A caricature of a Mexican couple, the man dressed in a sombrero and poncho, the woman with braided hair, and an infant in her arms, looked out at him through the barricade and cried. Then the frog was someplace else entirely, this time covered in Nazi insignia. Above his smirk, the phrase skinhead and a swastika. Over his left eyelid, 14, the numeric shorthand for the 14 words, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. And over his right eyelid, 88, which stands for Heil Hitler. And there the frog was yet again, standing at a lectern, stamped with a presidential seal, a red tie hanging from his green neck, Trump's iconic hair arranged on his head, an American flag at his back. This is Pepe. a cartoon amphibian introduced to the world sans swastikas and Trump associations in 2005 on MySpace in the artist Matt Fury's comic strip Boys Club, and popularized on 4chan in the ensuing 11 years, culminating in 2015. When teens shared Pepe's likeness so many times, he became the biggest meme on Tumblr. Fury did not respond to an interview request from the Daily Beast. Of course he fucking didn't. Because you're taking something he did ages ago and saying it's fucking a white supremacist cartoon. Which, imagine being the artist who drew this originally, by the way.
It's just a frog.
It's literally just a frog. I'll show you some of the original cartoons, right? Here's one. Obviously, know your meme. It's like journalists don't even know this exists. It's actually a really good resource for this sort of thing. Here you go, Sam. Bring this one up, right? See if you can tell me what subtle white supremacist storyline is going on here. You have Pepe. He's deep throating a hot dog. He's chilling with another one of his mates from the boys' club. They're sitting on a sofa, and he says, "My stomach hurts. You may have acid reflux." Acid what? And then he burps, and he does a little bit of a puke on his friend, and he melts his friend's face off.
Acid, eh?
Yeah, because it's acid, you see. Right? There's another one. All right. Just so we know, I didn't see any white supremacy there, did you? Or did you? Yeah.
I'm sure it's coming.
Right, okay. Well, let's have a look at the next one. This is called Pepe's reaction. Check it out. Here, have my seat. Thanks. So what's the video called? 3 hots and a cot. Oh man, that is sick, dude. What the hell? Well, you're barfing out loud. And that's obviously, referencing, doing reaction videos like, 2 girls, 1 cup, 1 man, 1 jar. 1 guy, 1 horse, whatever it is, right? And that's what internet people did back then. We used to watch gross videos and, make each other sick and film the reaction. Great times, right? Everything that we aspired for when we created the internet. So that is the boys' club. Those are the cartoons. Now, I understand things can be appropriated and turned into other things. Like, example, she talked about the number 88 there, right? Like, obviously, that has become a number with Nazi symbology. But here's the key thing. There isn't any evidence for her claims. There literally is no evidence whatsoever that suggests Pepe was ever appropriated to be a white supremacist sign. And here's a very key thing here. If you go to this Vice interview called Feels Good Man, which points to what I was talking about, right? Feels Good Man. That was when you used the smiling Pepe to denote something is good, right? So they did this interview. This is in July 2015. So this is a year ago. July 2015. And it's an interview with Matt Fury, the creator of Pepe the Frog. Now, we all know Vice is a very liberal and left-leaning publication. They've done some fine journalism, but again, in their tech and lifestyle segment, it certainly has a way more regressive left bent than any other type of ethos or ideology. I went through this interview. There is nothing, not one question about white supremacy. It's just not there. You can go right the way through. There is nothing about white supremacy. Nothing about, how does it feel to have Nazis hijack your frog, right? A question you never thought you would have to ask as a journalist. But here's the thing. This publication would definitely ask that question, right? If that was a real thing that was going on, then that would have been asked. So what we're actually saying is it didn't exist a year ago. So it has literally only happened in the last year. But it hasn't happened, has it? It just hasn't happened. There is literally no evidence, nothing. You can scour the internet. All the recent searches are basically Pepe, white supremacy. And obviously all the left-leaning news sites have picked up on this story and they're now just regurgitating it as fact. So on it goes. Well, you think, well, maybe this journalist, Olivia Nuzzi, must have said something. She must have some evidence. She must have done an investigation. So she starts talking about how the R9K 4chan board which obviously when Elliot Rodger, that Santa Barbara shooter who killed people in 2014, she says this is the point where it begins, right? Oh, how convenient, right? How convenient for you. And people started posting Pepe. And keep in mind, okay, Pepe represents you. Pepe represents me. Pepe represents the average internet browser. And sometimes we're depressed, right? Feels bad, man. Sometimes we're happy. Feels good, man. But the whole point is we lead very boring and dull, unfulfilled lives. So when this Elliot Rodger went out and shot a bunch of people, deplorable, of course, actually deplorable, what happened there was people started posting the Pepe as if it was him. And because there was a racist ideology behind his attacks, and he'd cited racist rhetoric when he made the attacks, obviously they drew the Pepe as being racist. But Pepe isn't racist himself. Pepe was this guy who was racist. Pepe represented him, and therefore the Pepe had to represent his ideologies. And I can't believe I'm having to explain this, honestly. I think the thing here to remember as well is that because Pepe is just basically take the face of a green frog or paint somebody green and you are linking to the original Pepe meme, then obviously there are many different iterations of this. And what's crucial to understand is if that we assert, like this journalist has, that Pepe is a white supremacist symbol, then there's a lot of people who are going to be fucking upset because there's a lot of Pepes on the internet. Rare Pepes, common Pepes, just Pepes everywhere. So let's start with this one. Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. Right? Must be a white supremacist
Pepe
thing.
the Hedgehog.
Yeah, well, Pepe the Hedgehog, so it must be white supremacy. One after that, of course, Aphex Twin. Very talented musician. Guess he's going to be upset because, he's Pepe'd. He's been Pepe'd. So, obviously, the same people that like Aphex Twin obviously like Pepe, obviously like white supremacy, right? So, Aphex Twin, he is the soundtrack for white supremacy now, according to this woman, to this journalist. SpongeBob SquarePants. Boom. There you go. You thought it was an innocent cartoon? Nah, he's been Pepe'd, fucker. So now, obviously, he's been Pepe Poo Pants, because obviously there was a spin-off meme called the Pee Poo Poo Man. That's a fucking juvenile. This is. What's that got to do with white Pee Poo Poo? Like fucking, so there you go. Pee Poo Poo Pants. Obviously a parody of SpongeBob. He's a racist. He's racist as fuck. Now, of course, you might also remember, this is a meme in and of itself, the woman from Triggered, right? Melody Helmsley, whatever her name is. She's the fucker who basically believes that Twitter gave her PTSD. And she even had a pop at veterans shouldn't be dismissive of my PTSD. You served in a war, right? Well, she's been peppified, hasn't she? There you go. So she's like a fucking icon to this fucking generation of losers who like to self-diagnose diseases they do not have because their lives are so dull and their personalities are so absent. They think having a fucking disease would make up for it. It doesn't. There you go. She's been peppified. Must be a symbol of white supremacy. Don't tell her. She'll be fucking triggered. Right, it doesn't stop there, though. Look at that. It's fucking Bane. It's your boy Bane from Batman. Now, he's got a lot of the hallmarks, actually. Big guy, skinhead. Didn't really see if he had any tattoos. Comes out with some pretty fucking offensive one-liners. But there you go. So Bane from fucking Batman. Obvious ties to white supremacy. I now start to wonder, actually, what that fucking film, The Dark Knight Rises, is all about, actually. Thinking about it. There's a few choice speeches in that, and he does a few things, and he's a radical. Who knows, mate? Maybe he likes to look at rare Pepes in his spare time. And then this is crucially the one that really, for me, just underlines how Pepe can be anything. It's a Black Lives Matter Pepe. Right? Yes, that's Black Lives Matter, the group that wants to combat racism in America by saying black people get a rougher deal at the hands of police and other institutions. And it's Pepe with a Black Lives Matter flag. So I guess while she was searching the internet for all the rare Pepes, she didn't find one that would counter the narrative about Pepe being an exclusively racist meme. You know why? Because he fucking isn't. But that's the thing. So she obviously didn't observe this stuff. She doesn't strike me as the kind of journalist that would have gone out and checked on 4chan or anything. She doesn't really seem to understand the internet, which is an ongoing theme this election. That basically everything on the internet is demonized. Everything that people under the age of 35 would understand and associate with, people who've spent their entire lives every day on the fucking internet in some capacity would know this. Everyone else is just being, their intelligence is being insulted, and everyone else is just being peddled a load of bullshit. So I don't understand how she can be a journalist for the Daily Beast, which has done some fine tech reporting, and not understand what Pepe. And she even says here, Pepe, the grimiest but most versatile meme of all, was both hero and anti-hero, symbol fit for all of life's ups and downs and the full spectrum of human emotions. Exactly right. Now, the full spectrum of human emotions includes racist arseholes. Of course it does. Pepe is everyone. So, what's her source, you think? She's got to have a source. Did she infiltrate a neo-Nazi group? Did she create a dummy account and get accepted onto a white supremacist board? Nah. That's too much like journalism, that, mate. I'm not going to do that, right? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get fucking trolled. And this is how you know she doesn't know about the fucking internet. You know she doesn't know about 4chan. 4chan has been responsible for some of the ultimate trolls. All right? They've done some unbelievable things. Right? Whenever there's a fucking survey for anything innocuous and benign, they're onto it. They created the free bleeding hoax, which some people actually believed. Didn't they perpetuate the cut for Bieber thing? What was that other one where people were just pissing themselves for feminism? We did that on one of our shows. Yeah. Piss yourself for feminism. These guys are serial trolls. They come together and they use their expansive reach, because this is multiple people with multiple skill sets, and they troll the fucking mainstream media. They troll innocent idiots, naive people. And they create movements which look real, and are actually fake, and sometimes they just create a movement which they themselves don't partake in, but they make stupid, gullible people who want to be part of the latest social media trend engage in it. The joke is always on you. The joke is never on the fucking anons over at 4chan, right? So what did she do? She fucking got trolled by a guy called Jared T. Swift, right? Now look at his fucking Twitter account, right? Jared Taylor Swift. So I guess we can talk about his name first of all, right? So Jared Taylor Swift, his name is a tribute to Jared Taylor, who was a leading intellectual influence of the alt-right and was behind the magazine American Renaissance, and I believe Taylor Swift, right? Hopefully I don't need to explain who she is. So first of all, his name is absurd, and deliberately chosen. Now, anyone who's followed this account, and I've had it retweeted multiple times in my timeline, but I must confess, not a follower until today. But he says in his Twitter bio, prominent white supremacist. Do you know what I mean? Right? Prominent white. So again, think about how clandestine racist organizations have to be. Prominent white supremacist. Yeah, no, I'm not just a white supremacist. I'm fucking really. I'm
into it. Like, yeah, I got T-shirts. I got. I got posters.
I'm not saying, I'm the king of white supremacy. Pretty high up.
I've got a weekly meeting with the boys set up.
Yeah.
We're into it. Like.
Yeah, I am into it, right? So prominent white supremacy, which is, again, it's fucking absurd. Then bad memes. Okay, so, my interests are pretty diverse, but if I had to say the two things I'm into the most, probably racism and memes, I'd probably say. Like, I think Bit of racism, bit of memes.
Sound.
Sound. Great day out, right? And then in block fucking capitals, parody account. Parody account. Now, unless that's some white supremacist code that I didn't get at the last Pepe meeting, I think that means he's taking the piss. He is extracting the urine. Do you feel me? So, unbelievable. So that's her source. And she says here, and it will start to blow your fucking mind. If it hasn't already, which I hope it has, but now it really gets good. Jared T. Swift is an anonymous white nationalist who claims to be 19 years old and in school someplace on the West Coast. He told me there is an actual campaign to reclaim Pepe from normies. What the fuck is a normie? Have you ever heard that fucking phrase in your life? What is a normie, mate?
Well, luckily, Olivia's going to tell you.
She does. Normies are basics. Agreeable, mainstream members of society who have no knowingly abhorrent political views or unsavory hobbies. They are Katy Perry. And when they latch on to a meme, the meme dies the way your favourite band dies when it sells out and licenses a song to Chevrolet. When mainstream culture gets in on the joke, in other words, the joke is ruined forever. Absolutely. The campaign to... Yeah, fuck. I hate normies.
Fuck the normies.
1 minute, there I am, listening to a band no one's heard of, and then the fucking normies come in
and give them money.
Yeah, and that's it. And then the band becomes normies. How can I listen to that? The campaign to reclaim Pepe from normies was an effort to prevent this sort of death, but it also had the effect of desensitizing swathes of the internet to racist, but mostly anti-Semitic ideas supported by the so-called alt-right movement. Just as an aside, let's go back to Jared Taylor Swift. He responded to this because obviously, like a lot of people messaging saying, did you just troll your way into a fucking election? And he's like, I did. He's saying, I have no idea how this right-wing parody account got so big. I'm just a snarky Marxist who's good at staying in character. He has been demonized on the internet. He's literally having it come out. He's retweeting everything. And crucially, in that description of him being a prominent white supremacist, he said, I am literally none of those things. I'm actually Jewish, by the way. So, okay, let's, if we don't assume it's a double troll, which it could be, right? You know, obviously when you're a troll, the downside is people don't believe what you say. But let's assume he isn't trolling anymore, and he is Jewish. She has just said that, a parody account, by the way, but she's ignored that part. A parody account is actually really a white supremacist who is trying to take Pepe back from the normies because they want to make him anti-Semitic, but the guy who's doing it's a Jew. Sound. I mean, that's it, right? We're fucked. Literally, this is peak absurdity. This is where it gets incredible. This is where the article peaks for me. This is like when you've dropped acid and you're getting a bit of vapor trails, right?
Bit of flashing colours.
Yeah, the colours are a bit more vivid. Fucking hell, the floor's a bit bumpy. Right? But this is when the fucking
This is when
trip...
you look into the mirror.
Yeah, this is when the trip fucking peaks and you are in the yellow submarine. They just, they just absolutely blitzed out your fucking mind, right?
Double dosed.
Derek had a double dose, mate. We basically mixed Pepe in with Nazi propaganda. We built that association, Jared T. Swift said. He sent me... You gotta keep it together, mate. He sent me a rare Pepe. He sent me a rare Pepe. An ironic categorization for certain versions of the meme. Pepe, his eyes red, and iris is swastika against a trippy rainbow backdrop. Do with it what you will. He said.
So I've made it a part of an election.
It's unfucking real, mate. So basically, he's just sent a ludicrous, for over the top, deliberately designed to troll image, and she's just bought it fucking hook, line, and sinker. He sent me a rare Pepe. Like what? Like, oh, you're in the club now. Oh god, we're all doing that. All the white supremacists, mate. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah.
I've a rare Pepe, man.
Oh yeah. You're one of us, mate. You're one of us, yeah. Definitely in the fucking. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And she goes on and just describes a bunch of stuff, a bunch of other people on the internet, and this is just trolling each other. And this is what I don't fucking understand, right? She quotes these people, and it's just ridiculous. There is literally, right, the babblings of trolls on the internet cannot be your primary source on a piece of fucking journalism, right? And here's the thing. I've interviewed actual people that would be characterized as white supremacists. I've done that. I've reached, for example, when Coontown was a subreddit or in existence, I got to do an interview with the moderators. Funnily enough, Daily Dot didn't want to publish that piece, not in its unedited form. I've spoke to these people, right? And people know I'm not a fucking racist. I think it's abhorrent, frankly. But at the end of the day, this is not what white supremacy looks like. This isn't real. This is clearly a fiction. And if you talk to somebody, if you're definitely not sure what they're telling you is true, you have to check and double check, get some other evidence. Her primary source is a troll, and she doesn't understand she's being trolled. At this point, you have forfeited any right to correctly write about the internet. This isn't even an elaborate ploy either. This is literally some guy just feeding her bullshit. Right? I mean, just look at the quotes. Most memes are ephemeral by nature, but Pepe is not, Jared T. Swift told me. He's a reflection of our souls, to most of us. It's disgusting to see people, normies if you will, use him so trivially. He belongs to us, and we'll make him toxic if we have to. How do you buy that? How does anyone buy that? And even if you do buy that as true, that right there says, yeah, we're not doing it really. Like we just don't want you to use Pepe, so we're just going to put some swastikas in his eyes, and then you won't post him. You won't post him on Facebook to your mates. It's all right. It's nothing to do with white supremacy then. Brilliant. Glad we had that talk. Nah, we'll just publish it completely whole cloth. What could possibly go wrong here? So there you go. And again, it doesn't end here. It never ends, does it? It never ends with people just going, hang on a fucking minute. This is nonsense. This is the stupidest load of shit I've ever seen. I end it there. But no, it doesn't end there. Keep in mind as well that after this all blew up, the Twitter troll that was the fucking main source for that piece was interviewed and said, quote, I think the most ridiculous thing is that a random guy on the internet who trolled a journalist once is now a prominent white supremacist. I mean, the only accurate part of that is the white part. And my Italian ancestry means that even that is disputed. So, it just makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense that this guy has been a troll. If you look at his tweets, he's always been tweeting ridiculous things that make no sense. And, everyone else agrees that there's never been a plot to take a cartoon frog and make it a symbol of white supremacy. There's no overlap. He's green. He's not even white.
Yeah, I know. He's not even Aryan. Not even close. Not even the same species.
So, yeah, and of course, like I say, the next step is, well, now we got to double down. We have to double down on the lie. So at the bottom of the Hillary Clinton thing, it says, let me get this straight. Trump's presidential campaign is posting memes associated with white supremacy online? Yes. But it's just his son and one of his closest advisors, right? Nope. And then it shows Trump retweeting it. And then, just curious, who else is in the photo? Notably conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who believed the government was behind the 9/11 and that Newtown was completely fake, and Breitbart's Milo Yiannopoulos, whose racism and bigotry is so egregious that Twitter banned him from using their site. Again, Don't think it was anything to do with that, actually. I think it definitely wasn't banned for racism. So that's not accurate either. This is horrifying. Yes. What can I do?
Vote.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want to fucking be on this planet anymore, unfortunately, let alone vote. I can't believe this is happening. Nobody believes this. Nobody under the age of 35, maybe 40, believes this. People who've grown up with the internet believe it. But just as a final point, if you go over to Wikipedia, you will find, lo and behold, well, now, fucking hell, get it in, change history. Pepe the Frog is white supremacy. And you can just see here, a slew of people have been trying to edit this. And let's not forget, there is something called Correct the Record, which Hillary Clinton has funded. It's basically people on the internet who go around correcting people that say falsehoods about Hillary Clinton. And you just see this ever-present, ridiculous, over-the-top, borderline Orwellian approach to information when it comes to this particular campaign. Now, we all know